on Twitter, there's some anger because a couple of professional athletes have been putting their foot in their mouth or their fingers in their mouth. Rashard Mendenhall, the great running back for the Pittsburgh Steelers, has caused the Pittsburgh Steelers' heads to explode with a couple of tweets that he has sent out. Now, initially, I read the first part of the first one. I don't even totally disagree with it because it said, what kind of person celebrates death? Sort of the discomfort of seeing people jumping in the streets at Osama's death. And I understand why, but still, the mere act of the celebrating of the death, so it feels like it should be sort of a sober moment. Am I wrong? Am I crazy?
I understand. I mean, that's the thing, and we'll get into it once he says what he said. But it's people take it different ways, you know.
Yeah,
that's just the thing.
Rick, do you? I think you sense that you think celebrating is appropriate.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like I disagree. It just seemed like it just seemed wrong. Like you should be happy.
No, it's not necessarily a rah-rah thing, but it's definitely it's progressive a little bit, wouldn't you think?
No, I'm delighted that we got him. Overjoyed. I was happy. I gave a guy a hug at the film festival, but I wasn't going to like go out and blow horns in the streets.
Well, did you go out and get a beach ball from your nearest dollar store?
Start bouncing around, right? So but anyway, Rashard Mendenhall. That's the beginning. Rashard Mendenhall goes on. It's amazing how people can hate, capitalized as you see, a man they have never even heard speak. We've only heard one side. Oh. Okay. First of all, we have heard him speak, and he ends every speech with "Death to America."
Yes.
So we got the speech down, and yeah, no, we have. Okay, maybe we have only heard his. First of all, we know both sides, and here's his side. His side was flying planes into buildings and killing innocent people.
I mean, he did take responsibility.
He did. You're right. We should give him credit. He did accept responsibility for it. I mean, so Rashard Mendenhall, you just want to be like you feel like a guy's heart might be in the right place, like he wants to, but he doesn't read anything. You know, he's not up on it. He wants to be sort of, you know, he's thinking that he's being open-minded, but he's sounding like
I think
a fool.
to a point he is up on stuff. That's the thing, because he was saying he's trying to stay within this realm of there's no bias. I'm just coming from a point of think about the way things are and get beyond the emotional side, which I'm okay with. The thing is where you may come to disagreeing with him is from the tweets I got. He's a conspiracist, a 9/11 conspiracy theorist. So with that basis, yeah, I understand his tweets. Instead of saying, because then it sounds like he's going, oh, it's fine that Osama Bin Laden helped pull off.
Right, Rick. What do we have? There's a tweet about that suggests what Jayar is saying about the conspiracy theory, right?
Yeah, I think he was all over that YouTube 9/11 loose change and totally bought into it.
Yeah, one of the tweets says, "We'll never know what really happened. I just have a hard time believing a plane could take down a skyscraper demolition style." Apparently he doesn't read Scientific American or Popular Mechanics. He will watch the loose change video on YouTube, though. So anyway, these Steelers have acted. He also, now this one, he says, for those of you who said you want to see Bin Laden burn in hell and piss on his ashes, I ask, how would God feel about your heart? He's a religious guy. I understand that one. The Steelers have panicked. I've not spoken with Rashard, says the president of the Steelers, Art Rooney II, who's also one of the few professional team owners to endorse Barack Obama, very important in Pennsylvania. The entitlers not spoken with him, hard to explain or even comprehend what he meant with his recent Twitter comments. The whole Steelers organization, proud of the job our military personnel have done. We can only hope this leads to our troops coming home. Anyway, they're panicking. But he's not alone. Chris Douglas Roberts, who plays for the Milwaukee.
Yes, you're correct.
Phoenix. Chris Douglas, who does he play for?
You had it right the first time, the Bucks.
Totally made up. Totally made up. That's awesome. That's the lesson, kids. When in doubt, a random NBA player is with the Bucks. All right, so Chris Douglas Roberts, he played for Memphis. They're the guys who choked the national championship game away against Kansas. He's been on Twitter also. Here he says, I'm the moron. Are you a Christian? Would God be happy with you celebrating death, or is your religion American? So again, he has a problem with the death celebrations. So far, I'm not, whatever. He's engaged in a spirited conversation. Then he says, is this the beginning of a huge religious war? I hope not. And then he parentheses, shaking my head. I got that. I like it when people put that in. I hope not. Like, I hope so. I hope not. Thanks for clarifying. And then he gets into it. I hope it cost us, the U.S., roughly, I'm guessing this is like
a trillion?
No, I don't think it's a trillion. I think it's a gazillion. $1,188,263,000,000,000 to kill that ... guy. But we winning though? Ha 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 ha. Sarcasm. And then took 2 years and 2 wars to kill that guy. Nearly 1 million deaths. He's got numbers that we don't know where he got his numbers. Of course, a lot of people were killed. I'm not saying it has nothing to do with 9/11 or that guy. I still feel bad for the 9/11 families, but I feel equally bad for the war families. I don't want the troops over there. They're dying every day. And then when people are getting on them, what happened to our freedom of speech? That's the problem. We don't want to hear anything that isn't our perspective.
Where's the problem? I'm looking for. He has an opinion. He plays basketball. He doesn't get an opinion anymore. Who cares? Yeah, he doesn't want troops over there. He doesn't want their families suffering. He doesn't want more dead Americans. He doesn't want the Brazilian dollars spent.
He doesn't want any more lira
spent on fighting these different things. But when you go into the details of it, which maybe I don't know the level of how much he knows about it. What have we spent all these Brazilian dollars on? You know, is it strictly on going after Osama Bin Laden? Hell no. So I mean, but this is Twitter still. How are you get into that whole discussion?
So big difference between what Chris Douglas Roberts tweets and what Rashard Mendenhall tweets.
There's nowhere that Chris Douglas Roberts said anything like, America, you're on the wrong side of this or anything like that. There was an instance or like a hint that Rashard Mendenhall was saying you haven't heard his side yet.
Right.
That was
Chris Douglas Roberts has none of that.
He's an American who's sick of us wasting our money. Isn't that that's what politicians run on? You know?
I think the lesson here, though, for Chris Douglas, I think people are mostly still mad that they were up like 8 with 1:20 to play. I think really that's where this comes from. Rick, last thing, did you see a difference between these two, the level of these two tweets, or no?
Rashard Mendenhall and Chris Douglas Roberts?
Yeah.
Yeah, Rashard Mendenhall said, going down on your man is optional. It's either going to be you or some other chick.
Oh, Chris Douglas Roberts said that?
No, Rashard Mendenhall.
Oh, Mendenhall said that?
Yeah.
Right. All right, so there you go.
He's a conversationalist.
Right, he's a conversation. It's just starting a conversation.